I've generated over $50,000 in revenue hosting parties in Houston, Texas this year. I did a lot of things right, a lot of things wrong. Today, I'm going to break down my 10 commandments of event hosting, aka the things that I've learned that have helped me along the process and might help you as well if you want to get into the same line of work. So let's get into it. Quick little introduction. My name is Trini Jackson. I started hosting events in Houston at the beginning of this year. Since then, I've hosted 7 back-to-back sold out successes. I'm grateful to say that I've also been able to be profitable in the process. And even though there is so much more to learn, I have gained experience on what it takes to get people to invest in event concepts so you can go through with bigger ideas, negotiating partnerships with large sponsors. Without further ado, let's really get into it. So commandment number 1 is never skip door sales. And by door sales, I mean people that hear about your event day of, walk up and they want to buy a ticket at the door. They're like, hey, I'm here right now. I didn't buy a ticket last week. I didn't buy a ticket last month. I want to buy a ticket right now. And let them buy a ticket. What I've learned through every event that I've hosted is no matter how much marketing you do beforehand and how much you go about pushing it, more people are going to hear about your event the day before and the day of than all your marketing put together. And here's the phenomenon, and here's how I explain it to people. There are going to be people that see the marketing for your event the first time you push it. Maybe they buy a ticket 3 weeks in advance. They buy a ticket 2 weeks in advance. And now, as the day gets closer, their friends are hitting them up in the group chat. And they're like, hey, what's the move for today? What are y'all doing tonight? What are you doing tomorrow? And they're, oh, well, I'm going to this game night. I'm going to this wellness party. I'm going to this day party. I'm going to this boiler room event that I saw on TikTok. I saw on Instagram. I got an ad about, whatever. And their friends are like, oh, bet I'm going to pull up too. That's why the day of and the day before it builds so fast, because the people that already have tickets are now bringing their friends with them, and they're okay, just come with us, we're already going. And on the day of, at the door, you can charge more because they need a ticket right then and there. They're already with their friends. They're not going to turn around and go home when all their friends are in the party. They're going to get inside no matter what the case may be. If they just heard about it, everyone knows there's a penalty for buying things last minute. It is what it is. It's just the name of the game. I never did this until my last event. Prior to this, I'm always selling out. I'm always going max capacity. I'm putting as many people in here as possible. So in my head, I didn't think that we ever had enough space to allow more people in. So I'm like, we already sold 500 tickets. 500 is the capacity. I don't think we can sell any other tickets. So I never saved tickets for the door. Now I realize how ridiculous that is, because the first time we sold tickets at the door, in that day alone, we raised the price of the ticket online for the day of, and then we raised it even more for at the door. Because once again, it's a last minute ticket. I'm already really close to capacity. So anyone who can't come, it's fine. That's the one thing. That's the best thing about marketing an event successfully, to where you know people are going to show up. It's like, if people do not want to buy at the door, it's okay, because we're already very close to capacity. And if they do, amazing, but they're going to have to pay more. So you're going to make more profit off of the individuals. So on the day of my last event, we generated more revenue in that 4-hour span that the event was running than we did in the entire week of marketing. Changed my opinion on door sales so significantly. For this, I would always tell people, you cannot pull up. I've already sold out. Like, if you didn't have a ticket, you just don't have a ticket, you cannot come. We can't do anything about it, because as I said, I would always go max capacity. But now I see the power of door sales. No matter how many people hear about your event before, there are going to be more people that hear about it on the day of and the day before. And it also kind of goes to show that no matter where sales are, the week before your event, the 2 weeks before your event, you're always going to get more people on the day of, guaranteed. No matter what, you just got to do your best beforehand to at least get people that can buy tickets, period. And that also brings me to commandment number 2. Commandment number 2, everyone is not coming. Okay? Everyone's not going to be there. Trinity, what they said they're going to go, and they're not coming. Trinity, they bought a ticket. They're not coming. They're not going to pull up. They're not going to be there. 15 to 20% of people that buy tickets, that say, I'm going to be there, not going to show up. Not going. Overly not going. That's why even if you sell out to max capacity, you can still sell tickets at the door, because everyone's not going to be there. Maybe day of, they don't want to go anymore. They had a family emergency. Their car stopped. They're not feeling it. They're doing something else. Doesn't matter what the case is, what the reason is. Not everyone's gonna be there, whether they bought a ticket or not, doesn't matter. I'm working on figuring out ways to even decrease this number so we can have more accurate representation of what guests we can expect in the building. But thus far, I feel like 15 to 20% of people are not going to be there. I had an event, we sold out 1,200 tickets, 900 people showed up. I didn't sell tickets at the door. I didn't tell people to pull up. You can pull up if you don't have a ticket. You can get a ticket day of. You can get a ticket at the door. So I could have actually gone to max capacity. There were a lot of people that were contacting me like, hey, can I still come? Can I still come? I said, no, you can't come. We're already at capacity of 1,200 people. Because some people think that just because you sell 1,200 tickets, that 1,200 people are going to pull up. 1,200 people are not pulling up. Trinity, they said they were going to come. They are not coming. Leave it alone. Dead it. It's over. It's done. You're clipped. Everyone isn't coming. Oh my God, I forgot the E on everyone. Just roll with it. That's why if you want 100 people in the building, you need to sell 150 tickets. You need to sell 130 tickets, 140 tickets. If you only sell 100 tickets and you want 100 people in the room, then you're only going to get 80, and then it's going to look a little sparse. You're going to be like, dang, where are all the people at? I've seen it with 100-person events. I've seen it with 1,000-person events. I've seen it with 500-person events. People are not going to pull up whether they have a ticket or not. That just is what it is. Nothing to get down on yourself about. It's just the numbers. And of course, it gives you more space, because just because they don't pull up doesn't mean they didn't buy the ticket. And that's why, if anything, make sure you have a non-refundable clause, because like whether you pull up or not, you already bought the ticket. And if you decide not to pull up for any reason, that's still on you. Let them know when purchasing tickets that the ticket is non-refundable. So if they don't pull up, that's fine. You still get the money, and you could sell that same amount of space in your capacity to somebody else. So it's kind of like you get to make the ticket money twice, especially if you sell a day of and you sell that ticket for a little bit more. So everyone's not going. Get really comfortable with this fact. Commandment number 3, don't risk reputation. Don't risk reputation. And nothing is worth your reputation as an event host, in my opinion. And that's why I tell people, like, I'm profitable now. I was not profitable at the beginning. Profit was not the goal at the beginning. Success is the goal. Every time, really. Profit is amazing over time, but initially, like, success is the goal. If you get known as being the kind of event host that doesn't do what you say you're going to do, that does things cheap and is overtaxing on everything and never delivers on good experiences, you're ruining your reputation. You can always host another event and do it better. You can always host another event and make more money. But if you ruin your reputation in business as a whole, like once you ruin your reputation, you have to start all over, or you just do another business or go under another name, because now you've kind of soiled your image and your clients don't trust you. Your customers don't think that whenever you host an event that it's going to be actually fun, it's going to be enjoyable. Since I now have a reputation in Houston, this has opened up many doors for even opportunities. So now there are opportunities for me to work with certain venues, partner with certain companies, brands, and it makes it easier for me to scale the business and be profitable in it. So I wasn't very profitable at the beginning, but since I focused on building a good reputation, now people know that when it comes to my events, they're always going to sell out. Like, I'm always pushing to make sure that as many tickets sell online as possible, and you're going to want to be there, and it's going to be a good time. And if you miss it, you're going to be sick. That's the reputation. I host good events in the city of Houston, and they always have as many people as possible. And I have a solid reputation. So people want to work with me. They want to partner with me. They want to understand how I do what I do. It makes it a lot easier. So in the beginning, don't focus on I'm trying to make as much money as possible. My largest event was the H-Town Hoedown, and it was extremely difficult to follow through with. And we ran into almost every obstacle available, it felt like to me. We had to change venues 3 times, which was frustrating. Initially, we said we were going to have this, and this, and people bought a ticket thinking we were going to have a mechanical bull, axe throwing, line dancing, barbecue, and these. I told them we're going to have those things. By the 3rd venue, it was very difficult and very expensive to figure out how to bring those same concepts to life because things kept changing. But I told them it was going to be there. So no matter what it cost, it had to be there. If I said it's going to happen, it needs to happen. And since I did everything that I said I was going to do at that event, no matter how difficult and expensive it was like a 10x increase in my credibility within the city because I did what I said I was going to do. People had a good time. And I wasn't worried about whether or not I was going to make money. It got to the point where I didn't care if it was a profitable event or not. I just wanted it to be successful. And whenever it comes to event hosting, success has to be measured in like customer experience. If you measure all your success in terms of just how much money you're making, you will cut corners. But if success looks like people coming out, having a good time, getting home safely, making new friends, then you can take that and you can build with it really, 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 really far. But if success is just money, it's going to make it difficult for you to, you're going to have to continue coming back and rebuilding your reputation, rebuilding your reputation. So don't risk reputation. Nothing is worth reputation. If you said it's going to happen, do whatever you can to make it happen. Which also means do not make any promises to your customer that you cannot follow through with. Because I had to learn that lesson as well. As I said, with Aishan Hoedown, I made big promises at the beginning. So whenever it came to the follow through, it was very difficult. But I had to do it because I said I was going to do it. Next. Commandment number 4 is one that I actually just learned recently, or something that I'm looking to implement at my next event to continue to improve customer experience and make sure people are having a good time but also being comfortable. It's that max capacity isn't mandatory. Okay, as I said, if I hear that 500 people can fit in the space, I'm going to fit 500 people in the space. Point blank, period. But here's the thing, depending, like at the end of the day, if it's at max capacity, it's probably pretty crammed. It brings in other factors like it being very hot. It's difficult to cool down. People are like really close. They can't dance, depending on what kind of event you're hosting. But let's say my most recent event was a boiler room style DJ event, and it was great. And people did dance, and it was a good time, but they wasn't probably as much dancing as there could have been. And now that I am an event host, I do also go to other events to see how they operate, things that they do, because I'm open to learning from other people's success. And I went to an event where Uncle Waffles was DJing. It was amazing. She's extremely talented. She's really interactive, and she dances a lot. And on her story later, she even posted that like no one was dancing in the club. And I was there and I saw the same thing because it was an Afro beats, piano type event. So I always thought that it was a bunch of dancing at those type of events, but there was no dancing. However, it was packed. It was super packed. Once Uncle Waffles left and she was no longer DJing, there's a little bit more space on the floor because some people exited the venue. And as soon as she was gone, the next DJ came up. And since they had more room to move around, everybody was dancing. Everybody was moving. I was like, and that was also eye-opening to me. I was like, you know what? Even though max capacity is great and it makes it look good because you have as many people in there as possible, it also brings in some type of security concerns. It's difficult to help people out. It's difficult to move around in general ways. I've always stuffed my events as much as possible. And then at it being max capacity, it's kind of like no one can move around and do anything. It makes it difficult to really meet new people. So sometimes it's not really mandatory. The max capacity is 500. Maybe you only get 400 people in there. They can still move around, get comfortably to and from the bathroom, find their friends, look at people, make new connections, build relationships without it feeling like a bunch of people just standing super close next to each other. Because now it's just kind of more of a listening party, or they can't really engage and connect the way you should be at an event. Of course, it depends on kind of event you're hosting, but I really don't see many events that could be super fun if everyone just stands everyone's just pushed close to each other where they can't move and do anything. They can barely lift their arms. And once again, it also raises concerns of like security and safety, which are always really important, because I think a successful event leaves with everybody getting home safely and being like, wow, that was a great night. And that's what you really want to be known for and you want to really focusing on. So max capacity does not have to be mandatory. You don't need to push everything towards as many people as I can fit in here. You want to think about not just as many people as I can fit in here, but as many people as I can fit in here comfortably. So if 500 people could fit in here, let's do 400 and make sure they have a really good time. Next commandment. The next commandment is don't just host an event. Launch it. Okay? Don't just put a flyer up and be like, hey, this is what's happening at this time, this day. Pull up if you want to. That's what everybody does. That's what everybody does. And that's why a lot of people have a long time before they start really selling out events consistently and getting a lot of success or whatever, because they just posted a flyer and they're, oh, come if you want to. No. Let me preface this by saying this. In my last event, I announced it on Tuesday, sold it out by Saturday, but I also now have a reputation behind me, which makes it easier to do things like that. However, when I first got into hosting events, I knew I wanted to do a game night. And I was like, okay, well, how am I going to promote this game night? Well, I'm not just going to post a flyer and hope that people pull up. I need to show them the vibes. I need to show them what they're going to be getting into, what it's going to be like, what they're going to be missing out on if they don't pull up. And that's how I started selling out events, like from the beginning. My first event sold out. My second, third, fourth, fifth, as I said, I have not had an event not sell out. And it's because of things like this, because when I knew I wanted to host a game night, what I did is I got all my friends together and I did a mock game night. Not only did it give me experience in seeing what the event process would look like and understanding a little bit more about the flow of the night and giving me things I can work on before my actual one, but I made the entire night about getting as much content as possible to show, share, and market the fact that this was about to happen. I got interviews of all my friends being there. I got content of us all playing the games, and I dropped all the videos. You want people in the comments like, when is the next one? Like, when is this gonna happen? Like, I need you to drop the information. It's, FOMO, fear of missing out. I don't want people to just kind of want to pull up to my event and be there, and if they can make it, they can make it. No. I want you to be terrified that if you miss it, you just missed the best night in Houston, Texas. You just missed out on making memories with new people and friends, and you're watching people on their stories having so much fun. You're like, I can't believe I'm not there. That's the kind of fear you want to instill in people whenever you're hosting effectively, efficiently. So you do that not by just posting a flyer and being like, oh, like, come to my event. Everybody does that. I don't want to be everybody. If you don't want to be everybody, don't just post an event, right? Don't just post an event. Don't just host an event. Don't just put it out there and hope that people pull up. Launch it. Make it a big deal. Like, no, you do not want to miss this. No, this is what it's going to be. This is what we're going to do. This is what it's going to look like. This is who's going to be there. The perfect kind of person for this event is boom, 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 boom. And that goes on to like the marketing of it. As I said, that's my specialty. That's what I love. That's what I get into. That's where I'm really in my duffel bag. But the best thing you can do whenever deciding that you want to get into event hosting is getting in the habit of being your first promoter. Like, you're promoting this thing with as much effort as possible, to the point where tickets should be selling day one. I'm a big believer that tickets should sell day one. You drop, right? On the H-Town Hoedown, that was the biggest event I hosted. And I was like, this is important. I got to put everything into this. I got to do everything I can. I didn't just post it. I built it up. I let people know what was coming. I showed them the venue. I showed them the planning process. I'm like, this is what I'm working on. This is what I'm thinking about. This is what I'm considering. And then I dropped the tickets with a big video. Then it was really my first time really experimenting with creative marketing strategies that's different than what I was used to. But it worked really well. We sold 100 tickets in a couple hours. And from there on, we continue to build and build and build and build. It's more difficult and discouraging when you start day one and no one's really seeing it, no one's really buying it. Then you got to really pick it up and you got to push and push and push to get people to start engaging. If you start strong, it's easier to keep going up, especially if you want to start doing things that are like 1,000 people, 2,000 people. That was 1,000 person event. So I knew that if I wanted to get results that I've never gotten before, which was getting 1,000 people, I had to do something I hadn't done before, which was an even bigger launch. And I still did it in under a month with no advertising, using just social media. Next. Commandment number 6 is marketing comes first. Of course, I'm biased because marketing is my favorite thing in the entire world. And this is really the department that I specialize in, but I want to tell you why I believe this. You can't have an event with no people. Okay? Which is like Trinity, duh. Right? Trinity, duh. But here's what I mean when I say that. A lot of people want to put focus into, okay, what are we going to do there? Okay, we're going to, like, they put more focus into picking the perfect DJ and picking the perfect venue and picking the perfect and these things are important as well. That's true. You can have the best DJ at the most amazing venue serving delicious cocktails, and if nobody comes, you didn't have an event. Okay? Nobody. But you can have an okay DJ in some average venue with good enough drinks, and if you have a bunch of people there, you'll still have an event. That's the thing. You can't have an event with no people, but if you have people, you can always have an event. You know? I hope that's coming across and making as much sense as it makes to me, because the people are the event. Okay, that's where the connection comes from. That's where it's meeting new people, making new friends. It's a share. An event is a shared experience, and people will put more time, energy, and effort into what's gonna happen there than into making sure people know it's gonna happen. And marketing comes first, because even if you don't get everything exactly right at the event, at least you have people there and you can help the people have a good time. When I say marketing, I don't mean the flyer. The goal of the flyer is to be informative. You want to make sure that on your flyer, the date is really big. People know what day it's going to happen, what time it's going to happen, where it's going to be, and a general idea of what's going to be there. If your marketing begins and ends at your flyer, you're in over your head. You get the flyer done, you wrap it up, and then you figure out how to push people to the flyer. I don't expect the flyer to get people interested and close the deal. That's really a lot of expectations on a single graphic. The way you have to look at it is people want to go to your event. It's all mindset as well, because it can get very discouraging when the ticket sales are not moving. You're like, oh my God, no, we're getting so close to the ticket date and I don't know how I'm going to do this. Then you start getting anxious and you have anxiety about it. Action kills anxiety. So whenever you feel like you're anxious, you have to do something to get your event in front of more people. That's it. There's nothing that sitting around hoping that tickets sell will do to sell tickets. Go out there and tell people about it. You have to be the spokesperson for everything that you have going on. At the end of the day, the only reason people aren't buying tickets is because they don't know about it. That's it. That's the only reason. I never feel personally attacked or upset or mad or frustrated when people aren't buying tickets, because they just don't know any better. They don't know what's happening. And that's my fault, because I'm not marketing it well enough. If I just... Oh my God. What the hell? Woo. Okay. So you have to figure out, how can I get this event in front of more people? That's it. How many people would need to see your event if only 1% bought a ticket? That's how I was thinking whenever I was launching my largest event and I needed 1,000 people. And I'm okay. If only 1% of people who saw this video, who saw this flyer, actually purchased, how many eyes would I need to get on it to even hope to sell 1,000 tickets, right? If only 10, mind you, I was closing out more than 1% of people. It's a good event concept. And the thing is, events are not a hard sell. They're not a hard sell. People like to get together. They like to have fun. They like to meet new people. People want connection. It's been something that's tried and true for years and years. It's not hard to sell. If you were doing enough to get as many people to know about it as possible, you would be very sure and comfortable that people were going to be there and it was going to be a massive success. Some people need to see it more than one time. Some people might see the flyer and that's enough for them. And they're like, fine, I'm going to buy a ticket, I'm going to pull up. I like the concept, because events are not a hard sell. Other people see the flyer and they forget about it. It's 2025. There's a lot of things going on, a lot of different content online. It is what it is. They saw it one moment, they didn't buy a ticket. They're on to the next. Then that's why you need to have the video drop and the venue tour and the concept and this and this. Some people need to see something or be exposed to it 6 to 7 times before following through with the sale. So keeping that in mind, what kind of marketing plan do you actually need to have in place if you want to sell out 100 tickets? Not just a flyer. A flyer is bare minimum. The flyer is not where your marketing begins and ends. And if it is, that's why it feels like it's so hard to sell out every single event. How many people need to see your event if only 1% of people buy a ticket? And more than 1% of people are going to buy a ticket. But at least with this mindset, you can realize that you're not even doing enough on your part to get eyes on your thing. And you're frustrated that people aren't buying tickets when you aren't even putting it in front of enough people to make them want to buy tickets. And most people need to see something more than one time before they make a buying decision. So with these things in mind, ask yourself, are you really doing as much marketing as possible? Because you can't have an event with no people, but if you have people, you can always have an event, period. Next. Commandment number 7 is always track data. This goes back into treating it like a business early on, especially if you want investors, sponsorships, partnerships. It's a lot easier when you can say, hey, look, this is how much we spent on our first event. This is the revenue we generated. This is the profit. This is the amount of people that come to our events that are from Houston, that are not from Houston. We get this percent of women, this percent of men, da 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 da. Not just in data on your customers, but data on your marketing efforts. How much are you investing versus getting out? All the financials, like everything that you need for a business. Like track the data of your business, and and then if you treat it like a business, it will pay you like one. So take it seriously. What are your numbers? And even in the example I gave you at the beginning of this video, where I was like, not everyone's going to be there. People are not always going to come. But if I'm looking at my data, I'm always trying to figure out how many people buy a ticket versus pull up. So I want to improve that number. How can I improve that number? Well, I'm going to make sure I'm doing things differently from event to event to decrease it. So I'm looking at the numbers from the first event, how many people bought tickets versus pulled up. Okay, so in this time we sent out a text message reminder and a notification through Posh. Now how many people pulled up versus bought a ticket? Okay, well, let's do this, this, and this. And how many different things are we doing to help decrease that number so we have higher attendance? Okay, well, maybe we do an event that's a lot of women and a lot of them are from Houston. So we're getting a lot of data in this way, and a lot of people will buy your data. And whenever you're thinking of investors, like one thing I've learned is real estate agents also love the data they get from events in their city, because you're telling people like, okay, this is this many people. You're getting data from people that live in Houston that may want to buy a house one day. Who knows? And those are the kind of individuals that can also invest in your concepts if it makes sense. But if you have no numbers to show them, it's like, what are we really talking about here? When I was pitching the H-Town Hoedown, I did a full slide deck, and I even brought them the data from the content I created. I'm like, hey, look, these are all the videos I've created about this event. These are all the people that have engaged and commented and what they said. We've got 300,000 views, this, and we haven't even dropped a single ticket. Then we dropped tickets, and then this happened and this happened. So I'm even bringing in data from my marketing effort so that they can really see the full picture of what this is and how many people are actually interested in attending and being involved in one way or another. So track your data, no matter what it is. And Posh makes this really easy. It's why it's a platform that I really enjoy. And I'm gonna have a link below if you want to get started on Posh, if you want to start hosting events afterwards, because Posh has a area where they tell you how many men, women, how many people have come to your events before. If it's their first event, what city are they from? Then you can get a profit and loss statement if you just put in how much money you're investing into the event, and they'll tell you what your projected outcome could be. It just makes it a lot more official, and on the back end, it's a lot easier to look at. Commandment number 8, success is silent, failure is deafening. And this is actually going into more of the customers that you have. I have been grateful to have only successful events. And the thing about successful events is after the event's over, no one's going to really say much. Is they maybe when they see me, because I make a lot of content where I'm marketing it, they're like, hey, I went to your event, great work, I love what you do, things like that. But they're not going to necessarily go out of their way to make a lot of videos about it. They're not going to go out of their way to post about it. It's not going to start trending on social media because it was so successful. If it's successful, you did what you were supposed to do. And they're like, great, good work, see you at the next one. It's just still amazing. And I'm so grateful for everyone that showed up to every single event. But I know for a fact, and I've seen on social media, if it does not go as good as possible, people will go out of their way. People that have never created content before, that have never spoken on the event before, that have never done a video in their life, will go out of their way to share how horrible the experience was and everything that you did wrong and how it was so terrible. The fact that they want this is bad and this is bad, because hate just spreads a lot easier. A good example of this is Marsai Martin's Psy Summer Cookout. I have never seen the Psy Summer Cookout on my For You page ever. I actually only ever heard about it because I was now hosting events. So now people are like, oh, have you heard about the Psy Summer Cookout? I'm like, oh, I never did. I never heard about it. The Psy Summer Cookout came to Houston, Texas. Psy Summer Cookout got flooded, right? It wasn't just a rainy day. It was literally storming, right? Something that's completely out of her control. Does everybody have a rain plan? Yes, everybody has a rain plan. Does anyone ever want to have to go through with the rain plan? No, because at the end of the day, or the one thing that would be the worst, especially for an outdoor event, it's like a rain will really just ruin it. There is a rain plan, but at the end of the day, no rain plan will ever be able to compensate for what the event could have been if it just did not rain. The event got flooded, not just rained, it was storming. We were getting thunderstorm warnings in Houston. It was extremely upsetting. They had to move it inside, which affected everything. As someone who's now hosted large events, no one knows what's happening on the back end. So as far as they know, you didn't do this, you didn't do this, you didn't do this, didn't happen. And people that would have never made a video if it went well, and people that have went years before and never made content about it, were pulling out their phones in the middle of the event like, this is terrible, I can't believe this happened, this is the worst thing ever, I'm gonna take y'all to this event, this is everything I hated about it, this is what was so terrible about it. And then this is the third year of it happening, and the first 2 years were massive successes. You would have never seen it pop up on your For You page. It never popped up on my For You page. Got rained out 1 year, and the failure is deafening. They will not let you rest, and no apology is good enough. So in the event where your event does not go well and you do your best and there's nothing you can do, that's at least you do your best. Honestly, the thing is that's important is like, do your best. At least you can say, I tried. Like, there's nothing you can do about rain. Sometimes there are situations that are out of your control. If you're really doing everything you can to do what you said you were going to do, and there are certain things out of your control, then don't let the failure is deafening. They're going to try to convince you that everything is your fault. I can't believe you did this. And then even when she apologized, the apologies will never be worth it. If it's successful, they won't say anything. If it's not successful, they're going to say everything. And that's why event hosting sometimes is a thankless job, because even when you do really well, like the content that I got from the H-Town Hoedown, I paid for it. Like either that or I invited people out. Other than that, like people posted on their story night of, people aren't gonna go out of their way to make videos about it unless it's terrible. And when it's terrible, it trends and people will go out of their way to let people know how terrible it was, even if you did your best. As I said, this hasn't happened to me yet because I've been grateful enough to where most of my events have been successful. I've seen it for other event hosts. If it's your first event, second event, and you do your best and it doesn't go as well, don't stress it. You're okay. You're safe. You're good. Because even if it went well, no one would have anything to say. Just do better at the next one. Commandment number 9, alcohol is the ace in the hole, all right? Alcohol sales more specifically. And this goes back into kind of talking about profitability. Whenever you're first getting started hosting events, you're probably going to try to figure out how you can find venues, and you don't want to put up a bunch of money for a venue. You want to really just keep your costs as low as possible. And that's why I would always partner with bars when I first got started, because the bar is going to make the money, right? Alcohol sales are the driving force of profitability for most bars, clubs, and lounges. So whenever I was first trying to negotiate how to find venues, I was like, look, I'll bring 100 people, and 100 people will come, they'll drink, they'll eat, and they'll like stimulate your business. In exchange, let me use the venue for free and let me keep the door sales and all the ticket sales. Okay, bet, perfect. That was a lay down offer. That's not a hard sell. Like a lot of individuals, a lot of bar owners agree to that same deal because they make so much money on alcohol. And alcohol sponsors are probably the easiest to come by. Whenever you're like, okay, I want to find partnerships. I want to figure out how I can get people to donate money. I want investors. I want like sponsorship deals. Alcohol sponsors, I think, are the easiest ones to get. They like the representatives for alcohol companies have so much liquor to give away just to give you for free. Like, oh yeah, I was working with AU Vodka and I got connected with the representative. I got on the phone with her. I said, yeah, I have a game night that I host. I would really love to have AU Vodka there. She said, okay, great, perfect. I just went ahead and put you in an order at the warehouse. You can go pick it up. I went to the warehouse, no questions asked. She let me pick up 2 full cases of vodka, and we had free alcohol for the night. And I was able to justify raising the cost of the ticket because now alcohol was included in the ticket price. Like alcohol is a lot more profitable than I even realized before hosting events, and that's why so many venues are open to partnering with you as long as you bring the people and the people drink. Last but certainly not least, we're moving on to commandment number 10. The 10th and final commandment also is a characteristic that I think determines your ability to be a successful, effective event host, event curator. And that is that all problems get solved. Point blank, period. Day of the event, I think the most effective event hosts are the ones that are like, you can bring me any issue that just happened. I don't care what just happened, and I will figure out a way to solve it. I am constantly moving around my space, moving around the venue, observing everything. And if there's a problem, I'm going to either I solve it right then and there, or I call someone to handle it immediately. I don't care if it's toilet paper and the restroom is out. If I hear about it, okay. But and then at the same in the same instance, there are going to be certain problems that you were never expecting, and it doesn't really matter that you didn't think it was going to happen and you didn't want it to happen. In my opinion, I think your potential to be a very good event host is directly tied to your ability to solve problems no matter what, and just solve them to the best of your ability in that moment. It may not be the perfect solution. Maybe it wasn't something you thought was going to happen, but whenever the event is rolling and it's happening right now, we don't have time to wish it didn't happen. We don't have time to wish it didn't happen. It happened, now what? The thing is, since I'm like the face of most of my marketing, so everyone knows it's my event. So if there's something happening, they're coming in, they're letting me know. Trini, this just happened. Trini, the bathroom is flooded. The toilets aren't working. What are we gonna do? Okay? I was like, oh, okay, noted. We don't have time to wish the bathroom didn't flood. Okay? The bathroom's flooded. What do we want to do? Oh, okay. We have another bathroom up front. Put someone outside. Route everybody to the bathroom down the hallway. Boom, problem solved. Trinity, we're running out of cups. What do? Send someone to the store. Boom, got cups on the way. One event and this is why being observant is important too. Like during my event, I'm never having fun in the way that people expect. My fun during the event is a successful event. Okay, they're like, oh, like Trinity, like, do you want a drink? Do you want da da da? I am probably as sober as I ever am not only sober but focused. Like I don't drink anything. I don't engage in any of the games we play or any of the things that the event actually has going on, because the event is for the people, not for me. It's my kind of fun, yes, but also, the success of this event is how I would have a good night. So for me to have a good night, y'all have to have a good night. For me to have a good night, everyone needs to have fun, get home safely. That's what my goal is. So I'm not walking around, enjoying the event in the way that everybody else is. My form of having fun at the event is being as observant as possible, watching each and everything. I remember one night I was hosting a game night, and there was a couple people that arrived. The event had probably been going on for about an hour and a half, and we had alcohol available. And I looked at the alcohol that we had and the amount of people who were there, and I considered the amount of people that were coming and the fact that we said that alcohol was included. And it did not look to me that we had enough alcohol to actually be able to serve as many people as were there and as many people as were coming. And I was looking at it, and I feel like I was doing like event host calculations in my head. And I said, we are going to run out of alcohol in like the next 30 minutes. Made a phone call. Before it even happened, I said, go get this from the store. I sent someone $150. Before the issue had time to take place, we had alcohol in place, but then we ended up running out of cups, right? So it's just all the things, right? Things are going to come up. It doesn't really matter. But on the day of the event, you do not have time to wish it didn't happen. Literally when you hear about the problem, taking time to be like, oh my God, I can't believe you're wasting time. You're wasting time. The bathroom is flooded right now. What do you want to do? We ran out of cups. What do you want to do? What are we going to do? Solve the problem to your best of your ability in the moment. At the end of the event, as long as you can say, I did my best. Like I literally did everything I could. I pulled out all the stops. Everything that was in my power, I took control of, and I solved every problem as best as I could. You did what you could. Like it is what it is. Do better the next one. But we don't have time to sit around and wish the problem didn't happen. It happened. This is your event. What are you going to do about it? You have to be so solution oriented on the day of the event that nothing can really faze you, nothing can throw you off, and all decisions need to be made as quickly as possible and implemented. Make the decision. Whether it's the right decision or not, you will figure out later, and if it isn't the right decision, you will do better next time, and if it is, congratulations, you handled it and you had a good, it doesn't really matter. Expect the unexpected when it comes to day of. It's a lot. Sometimes it's very stressful. You don't even know if you're doing the right thing, but you just got to do your best. I hope all of this helped and was able to provide some insight, information, if you are someone that wants to host events. And once again, this is just me speaking from my own experience thus far. I don't know everything. So some of these things you may not even relate to, or maybe you host events, you're like, I don't really agree with that. It is what it is. I can only speak from my life experiences. So these are the things that I've learned. I'm still learning more and more and more. So who knows, these 10 commandments may be completely different in the next year. But that's what I love about event hosting. The fact that it is a space of I love, I'm enjoying, I'm having fun, and I'm constantly adapting, evolving, and educating myself on how to improve in the space so I can perform better and give even more unique, amazing experiences to my customers, to the people that support me, and like to come out and experience the things that I put together. So I want to thank you for watching. If you have any questions, drop them in the comment section below and make sure you subscribe for more. Bye.